Good evening, guys. I just had a big violent thunderstorm, but it's gone now, so we're okay. So, welcome back to Storyteller's Corner, guys. And this is, we're going back to our little village of Willowmere. And this is chapter 8, A Light on Lantern Hill. So, let's get into it, guys. That night, very few people in Willowmere slept. Not because they were worried. Quite the opposite, they were excited. The kind of excitement that makes your mind wander long after your head touches the pillow. A lantern had appeared on Lantern Hill. A promise waited there. And according to Elsie, that promise had been made before any of them were born. Naturally, no one could stop thinking about it, especially Molly. At precisely 6 o'clock the next morning, Molly knocked on Pip's door. Once, twice, then several times more. Pip opened it with his hair sticking in every direction. "Molly!" "Yes, it's 6 o'clock. I know. Why are you here?" "Adventure." Pip stared at her. "Adventure should happen after breakfast. Breakfast is important. Very important. When are we standing here talking?" Pip smiled. "Now you're making sense." By 8 o'clock, a small group had gathered in the village square. Clara carried a basket filled with sandwiches, honey cakes, and enough food to feed twice the number of people present. Arthur carried a notebook, 3 pencils and a compass, and several inventions nobody else understood. Thomas carried a walking stick. Elsie carried a map, and Lily carried a small lantern. And Molly and Pip carried enough enthusiasm for everyone. The wooden fox and the wooden bird came too. Neither seemed willing to miss whatever was about to happen. The path to Lantern Hill began beyond the western meadow. Few people used it anymore. The trail climbed steadily uphill through fields of wildflowers and patches of woodland. As they walked, Willowmere grew smaller below them. The cottages became tiny. The church spire became a distant point against the sky. The village pond glittered like a silver coin. "It's beautiful," Clara said softly. "It always has been," replied Thomas. "We just don't stop long enough to notice." By midday they'd reached the hill. At the summit stood an old stone lantern tower. It was not large, perhaps twice the height of a person. Its weathered stones were covered in moss and climbing ivy. Yet despite its age it seemed sturdy, as though it had been built to last. The lantern at its top still burned. A warm golden light shone behind the glass. Arthur looked astonished. "That's impossible." "Why?" Pip asked. "The lantern hasn't been maintained in decades." Thomas smiled. "Not everything needs explaining." Arthur looked up, but personally offended by this statement. "Everything needs explaining." "Not everything." "Everything." The debate continued while the others laughed. Near the base of a tower, Elsie stopped. "Here." She pointed to a flat stone set in the ground. The star on the map matched the carving on the stone exactly. Everyone gathered around. Molly knelt beside it. "Do we dig?" Arthur brightened. "Excellent suggestion." Clara sighed. "Of course you think so." Within a minute they borrowed tools from Arthur's backpack, though nobody knew why he carried a small folding shovel everywhere. After clearing away soil and roots, they uncovered a metal ring. Thomas gripped it firmly. "Ready?" Everyone noticed. Everyone nodded. He pulled, the stone lifted. Beneath it was a narrow staircase descending into darkness. Pip's eyes widened. "Oh!" Molly grinned. "Oh!" Arthur looked delighted. "A secret staircase." Clara shook her head. "You're far too happy about this." "Aren't you?" "A little." The group lit lanterns and carefully descended the staircase. The staircase led underground into a surprisingly large chamber. The walls were lined with shelves, old shelves, very old shelves. Hundreds of books rested upon them. Journals, letters, maps, records. The entire history of Willowmere seemed preserved there. Lily gasped. "It's an archive." Elsie nodded. "The founders built it." "The founders?" Clara asked. "The first families who settled in the valley." The room fell silent. Generations of stories surrounded them. Lives remembered, lives preserved, lives that might otherwise have been forgotten. In the centre of a chamber stood a wooden chest. Unlike the others they had found, this one bore no lock, only an inscription. Thomas brushed the dust from the lid. Together they read the words, "For those who come after us." Arthur slowly opened it. Inside were dozens of letters, and one rested at the top, addressed simply to Willowmere. Clara carefully unfolded it. The handwriting was elegant but faded with age. She began to read aloud. "If you are reading this, then our village still stands. That is good. We built Willowmere not because of the land alone, but because we believe people should never face life entirely alone. There will be a season of joy and a season of sorrow. People will arrive, people will leave. Friendships will break and heal, children will grow, old stories will fade. But if the kindness remains, Willowmere will also find its way." Nobody spoke. The words seemed to settle gently in every heart. Thomas looked towards Lily. Arthur looked towards Thomas. Clara thought of every person she cared for. Even Molly and Pip were unusually quiet. And something slipped from the letter, a small piece of paper. Elsie picked it up. Her eyes widened. "What is it?" Clara asked. Elsie stared at the message. For the first time since anyone had known her, she looked genuinely surprised. "It can't be." "What?" Slowly she turned the paper so everyone could see. Written on it were just a few words. "The final gift remains hidden beneath the Willowmere tree." Everyone looked confused, except Thomas. "The Willowmere tree?" Arthur frowned. "Which tree?" Thomas smiled slowly. "The one grown in the village square, the golden tree. The tree that had grown from a blossom that fell when friendship was restored. The tree that seemed touched by a little bit of magic. Far below, in the distance, village sunlight glimmered on its leaves, waiting, as though it already knew that they were coming." So there we go, guys. Join me for chapter 9 tomorrow, Tuesday evening, for The Secret Beneath the Golden Tree, chapter 9. So there we go, guys. But before that, we shall be visiting our scandalous Victorian story Between Duty and Desire for chapter 26, and it's called The Crossroads. Decisions are to be made. So who's going to be making decisions, and what's going to happen there? So let's find out tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, Between Duty and Desire, chapter 26 for Crossroads. Then we'll venture off back to the little village of Willowmere for The Secret Beneath the Golden Tree. So there we go, guys. That's your story for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care now, and have a blessed Monday evening. Bye bye now.